Hey my little champs, hope all of you are fine and taking care of your health in this Omicron situation. Once again I'm back with the lesson 2 video of the chapter probability where I'll be dealing basically with the dice problems. In the previous video, I've taught you some basic concepts of probability and coin problems. As I've told you, there are mainly 3 experiments which you have to study in depth in the chapter probability. First is tossing a coin, second is rolling a dice, and the third is the card problem, deck of 52 cards. In the previous video I have taught you the coin problems, and in this video I am going to teach you how to solve the problems based on dice. So first let's have a quick recap of the lesson 1 video. Students who haven't watched the lesson 1 video, they are advised to watch that video at first and come to the lesson 2 video. That will be better for you. In the previous video, I have introduced you with some basic terms related to probability. Number 1 is experiment. What is an experiment? A process which results in some well-defined outcome is known as an experiment. You will do a process, you will perform a process and will be getting certain outcome. That process is called an experiment. Number 2, random experiment. What is a random experiment? When you don't know specifically which outcome you are going to get after performing that experiment is known as the random experiment. Experiment is a process when you know that you will be getting certain outcomes. But in random experiment, you don't know which outcome you are actually going to get. For example, the example which I have given you in the previous video is tossing a coin. This is a random experiment, right? And you know the possible outcomes of these experiments. And those possible outcomes are contained in a set known as sample space. Right? Sample space S will contain the possible outcomes. After throwing a coin, you will be having only 2 possible outcomes. Those are head and tail, either head or tail. So the sample space containing all the possible outcomes of this experiment tossing a coin will have 2 elements, that is head and tail, right? What is cardinality of a set? Cardinality means the number of elements contained in that set. Number of elements contained in a set, right? So here the cardinality of the sample space S is, we represent the cardinality as n, and within first bracket we write the alphabet representing that set, that is S, or within mod we write the alphabet representing that set. So the cardinality of S will be 2 because it contains only 2 elements, head and tail, right? So this is a random experiment. Why? Because after tossing a coin, you don't know whether you will be getting a head or a tail. Next term is sample space. I have told you, sample space is a set containing all possible outcomes. Sample space is a set. So a set is represented within curly brackets. So the sample space is also represented within curly brackets and it contains the all possible outcomes separated by comma. Now, equally likely outcomes. What do you mean by equally likely outcomes? When the probability of getting all the outcomes will be equal. For example, in this experiment of tossing a coin, the probability of getting a head is equal to the probability of getting a tail, because this experiment is not biased, it is unbiased. So probability of getting head will be equal to the probability of getting tail. And in the previous video I have shown you that this probability will be equal to half. Number 5 is event. An outcome of a random experiment is called an event. So here head is an event and tail is an event, right? So Let us consider the first event. Let E1 be the first event, getting head. You are interested to find the probability of getting head. What will be the set E1? Event is also a set. So it will be also represented within curly brackets. So what will be the event? Only H. Right? Getting head, it will contain only one element, that is H. So cardinality of E1 will be 1 because it contains only one element. So what will be the probability of getting head? What will be the probability of getting head? In the previous video I have told you the formula for probability, that is cardinality of the event by cardinality of sample space. So what is n of E1? It is 1 and n of E2 is 2. So it will be half. And since this experiment is an unbiased experiment, so the probability of getting head will be also equals to probability of getting tail equals to half. Such that I have told you the summation of probability of all the events will be equals to 1. So in this experiment there are only two possible events. Number 1 is getting head and number 2 is getting tail. E1 is getting head and E2 is getting tail. Right. And I have told you the summation of probability of all possible events will be equals to 1. So here you see probability of E1 means probability of H, probability of E2 means probability of getting T, and both are equals to half plus half equals to 1. Satisfied. And then I have given you some important points to note down. First one I have already told you now. Summation of probabilities of all possible events will be equals to 1. Number 2 is probability always ranges between 0 and 1, including 0 and 1. And number 3 is probability of an event plus probability of the complement of that event will be always equals to 1. So probability of the complement of an event will be equal to 1 minus probability of that event. Okay. So these are the things which I have taught you in the previous video. Now in this video I am going to teach you how to deal with the problems based on dice. The first misconception that a student has with the word dice is whether it is a singular or a plural. Dice is the plural form and die is the singular form. Note it very carefully. So I have written a die means one die. Here I have written two dice. Okay, dices doesn't exist. The word dices doesn't exist. Singular form is die and plural form is dice. Throwing an unbiased die. A die is basically a cube, right? Cube. And you know the cube has 6 faces. So die also has 6 faces which are either numbered or marked with dots of corresponding values. And I guess everyone has played Ludo in their childhood or now also. So you have seen die. You are familiar with the die, right? First face contains 1 dot, then 2, then 3 like this, then 4 like this, then 5 like this, and then 6 like this. Chakka. Right? So these are the 6 faces and it looks like this, or it is either numbered like 1, 2, 3, 6 up to 6 like this, right? So rolling a die is an experiment. So what are the all possible outcomes? After throwing a die, you are either going to get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So there are 6 outcomes. Sample space S contains all the 6 outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So cardinality of S will be 6 because it contains 6 elements. So after throwing a die, you are either going to get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Now let me find out the probability of getting 1. So for that, first define an event E1, that is getting 1. E1 is also a set, so it will contain element. What will be that element? Only 1. You are interested to know the probability of getting 1. So event E1 will contain only one element, that is 1. What will be n of E1? That is 1, because it contains only one element. Now, what will be the probability of getting 1? That is n of E1 by n of s. So n of E1 is 1 and n of s is 6. So probability of getting 1 is 1 by 6. And this experiment is also unbiased. So it will be also having equally likely outcomes. That means probability of getting 1 equals to probability of getting 2 equals to probability of getting 3 equals to probability of getting 4 equals to probability of getting 5 equals to probability of getting 6 equals to 1 by 6. Since we have found that probability of getting 1 is 1 by 6. So probability of getting 2 will be also 1 by 6, because the event of getting 2 will also contain only one element, that is 2, and then probability of E2 will be n of E2 by n of s. So n of E2 will be 1 because it contains only one element, that is 2, so 1 by 6. So probability of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be 1 by 6. Now let us focus on the experiment when a coin and the dice both are tossed together. At first the coin is tossed. You are going to get two possible outcomes. Number 1 is head and number 2 is tail. Now a dice is thrown. So now we will be getting 6 possible outcomes. Suppose you have got head in the first toss. So after throwing a die, you will be getting either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Similarly, if you have got tail in the first toss, then also you will be having 6 choices: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So total how many outcomes? H1, then H2, then H3, then H4, then H5, then H6. Here also T1, T2, T3, T4, T5 and T6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for head and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for tail. So total cardinality of S will be 2 into 6, that is 12. 2 for coin and 6 for die. Here also I have did the same mistake, that I have written a dice. It will be die. These are the elements of the sample space. Now let us do some problems to make this concept clearer. Number 1 problem is, in a single throw of a die, find the probability of getting a number. Number 1 is greater than 4. Number 2 is less than or equal to 4. Number 3 will be an even number. Number 4 will not be an even number. And number 5 will be an odd number. So the question based on die will look like this. Examiner will not ask you to find the probability of getting 1, probability of getting 2, because you know that it will be 1 by 6. So question will be like this. How to solve these types of questions? At first, write the sample space. Sample space S equals to, the experiment is throwing a die. So what are the all possible outcomes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now write the cardinality of S equals to 6. Now number 1 greater than 4. So define an event. Let E1 getting number greater than 4. So what will be the elements of the event E1? What are the numbers greater than 4? 5 and 6. So it will contain two elements, 5 and 6. So n of E1 will be 2 because it contains two elements. Now, probability of getting number greater than 4 will be equal to probability of E1, and which is equal to n of E1 by n of S. That is cardinality of E1 by cardinality of S. What is cardinality of E1? That is 2, and cardinality of S is 6. So 2 3 is 6. It will be 1 by 3. So probability of getting number greater than 4 is 1 by 3. Let us do number second part, less than or equal to 4. So now define an event E2 getting number less than or equal to 4. Avoid using shortcuts while defining an event. Don't use shortcuts. I am using here shortcuts in order to save your time. Okay. So what will be the elements of the event E2? Less than or equal to 4. So what are the numbers? 1, 2, 3 and 4. It will include 4 because it is given equal to 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the cardinality of E2 will be 4 because it contains 4 elements. Now probability of getting number less than or equal to 4. Don't use shortcuts in exams. You have to write in words here. Getting number less than or equal to 4 is basically probability of E2, which is equals to cardinality of E2 by cardinality of S. Cardinality of E2 is 4 and cardinality of S is 6. 2 is a 4, 2 3 is a 6 equals to 2 by 3. Second part answer is 2 by 3. Moving to the third part, getting an even number. So what are the even numbers here? 2, 4 and 6. So now we have to define an event E3 which will contain the numbers 2, 4 and 6. So do it. Let E3 be an event of getting an even number. So the elements of E3 will be 2, 4, 6 and cardinality of E3 will be 3 because it contains 3 elements. So probability of getting an even number will be equals to probability of getting E3 which is equal to n of E3 by n of S. N of E3 is 3 and n of S is 6. So 3 to the 6 half. Half is the answer of third part. What is the fourth part? Number which is not an even. The next event is getting a number which is not an even. So that will be basically what? Complement of E3 because E3 is a event of getting an even number. So getting not an even number will be the complement of E3. E3 complement is getting not an even number. The probability of E3 complement will be equals to what? 1 minus probability of E3. In the very beginning I have told you that probability of the complement of an event is equals to 1 minus probability of that event because probability of event plus probability of complement of that event is equals to 1. So probability of the complement of an event equals to 1 minus probability of that event. So it will be equals to what? 1 minus 1 by 2 equals to half. You can do this problem in the other way around, that is event E4 of not getting an even number will contain the elements, odd elements, basically the odd elements 1, 3 and 5. It will not contain 2, 4 and 6. So E4 will also have the cardinality 3, same as this 3, and then the probability will also become half. But this is the shortcut process. This process will consume less time and it is also correct. We will be getting the full marks. So why to waste energy, right? Number fifth is probability of getting an odd number. Same event as 4. It basically implies same event. Not getting an even number means here you will be getting an odd number. But it is given, you have to write. Let event E4 is getting an odd number. We know in this experiment, because this may not be true for other experiments, this is true for this experiment, that getting an odd number also implies getting not an even number, right? So E4 is basically equals to E3 complement, or probability of E4 equals to probability of E3 complement equals to half. You can also write the problem like this, but you have to explain why are you writing probability of E4 equals to probability of E3 complement. So if you describe like this, you will be getting marks. Okay? Or I'm also showing the alternate process. Let E4 equals to getting an odd number. So the elements of E4 will be what? 1, 3 and 5, right? So n of E4, that is cardinality of E4, will be 3. Probability of getting an odd number equals to probability of E4 equals to n of E4 by n of S equals to 3 by 6, which is equals to half. You can also write like this. So what are the steps for finding probability? First, define sample space and write its cardinality. Second, define the event and write its cardinality. Then find probability using the formula. These are the 3 simple steps you have to follow for finding the probability of an event. Moving to the next problem. So next problem is, in a single throw of a die, find the probability of getting number 1 is 5, number 2 is a number less than 6, and number 3 is a prime number. So follow the 3 easy steps. What is the first step? Write the sample space of this experiment. Sample space S will contain the elements what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Since it is the experiment of throwing a die, what will be the cardinality of S? It is 6. Now, for number 1, what you have to do? Define an event E1. E1 getting what? 5. So, what are the elements of E1? It will contain only one element, right? That is 5. Because you are interested to find the probability of getting 5. So, it will contain only one element, 5. What will be the cardinality of E1? It is 1 because it contains only one element. It is 5. So, probability of getting 5 equals to probability of E1 equals to n of E1 by n of S, which is equals to n of E1 is 1 and n of S is 6. Answer of first part. You knew it beforehand, right? Probability of getting 5 will be 1 by 6. Because in the beginning I have told you that this experiment is unbiased, so it will be having equally likely outcomes. Hence, probability of getting 1 equals to probability of getting 2 is equals to probability of getting 3 is equals to probability of getting 5 equals to probability of getting 6 equals to 1 by 6. Right? In the very beginning I have told you. Okay, let us jump to the second part. That is probability of getting a number less than 6. Define an event E2. Let E2 is getting a number less than 6. So what are the elements of E2? Number less than 6. What are the numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will contain 5 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. N of E2 will be 5. So probability of getting number less than 6 will be probability of E2 equals to n of E2 by n of S, and n of E2 is 5, n of S is 6, so probability is 5 by 6. Number 3, getting a prime number. What are the prime numbers here? 1 is neither prime nor composite, right? So prime numbers are 2, 3 and 5. So the next event E3 will contain 3 elements 2, 3 and 5. So E3 is getting a prime number. So it will be containing 3 elements 2, 3 and 5. So n of E3 will be 3. Probability of getting a prime number equals to probability of E3 equals to n of E3 by n of S equals to 3 by 6, which is equals to half. Answer of the third part. So if you are going to represent your answers in these forms, be damn sure you are going to get the full marks. So today after this, in the next video, I'll be teaching the problems based on cards. That's the most important part and most confusing part of this chapter, because most of you don't have any idea regarding cards, right? So the next video will be very important for you. Don't miss it. I'm sure that you have learned many things from this video and you have really enjoyed this video and the previous video as well. So don't forget to hit the like button, because one like motivates me a lot. Believe me, it means a lot for me and pushes me to work harder for you. I try my level best to make you understand these problems in an easy manner. So please like the videos, please guys, and also share this video with your friends, siblings, whoever you want, so that they can also learn this chapter for free, and also with the same ease you are learning this chapter with me. Lastly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you remain updated of my content, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified every time when I upload a new video. See you guys in the next video. Till then, stay tuned, stay at home, stay safe, take care of your health, and keep on practicing math. Bye bye.